نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Dear brothers and sisters, in continuation of our Quran learning process, today we will try to read and understand verse number 164 from second chapter of Quran, that's Al-Baqarah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض. Indeed, in the creation of heavens and earth, واختلاف الليل والنهار, and in the alternation of night and day, والفلك التي, and in the arks are boats, تجري في البحر, which cruise in the seas and oceans, بما ينفع الناس, carrying things which are beneficial to man. وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء, and whatever Allah sends down from heavens as rain. فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها, and with it he brings earth back to life after its lifelessness. وبث فيها من كل دابة, and there are spread different kinds of living creatures within the surface and over the surface of earth. وتصريف الرياح, and in the blowing of winds. والسحاب, and in the clouds. المسخر بين السماء والأرض, which are hanging between heavens and earth. لآيات, in all these things are signs of the greatness of Allah. لقوم يعقلون, but for those people, only for those who use their reasoning powers. Sadaqallahul Azim. This is verse number 164 of second chapter Al-Baqarah. From the meanings of the verse, I hope you shall have felt the vastness of this verse. To my knowledge, as my experience as a humble student of Quran goes, I find this one of the greatest verses of Quran, if not the greatest. because it asks its reader to think and ponder, to go into depth of everything, and then try to understand. Look around, see towards earth and the heavens, towards its own self, and what's over the earth and under, beneath it, towards the oceans and mountains, and the living creatures, and winds, and even clouds, and asks its readers to see, observe, and then explore, and simultaneously go into the depth of their meanings. And we shall find la-ayat, many, many signs of the greatness of Allah. That's why at the end of the verse, Quran says that la-ayatin liqawmin ya'qilun. Therein are signs of the greatness of Allah, the Almighty, the creator and sustainer of this whole cosmic system, but only for those people who use their reasoning powers. And this is, as we have learned from the study of our Quran, which we have done so far, that this is one of the basic themes of Quran. That Quran asks its readers that whatever he sees, he should try to go into depth of it, try to learn and try to get maximum out of it. And behind the creation, he should try to see and understand the greatness of the creator and sustainer of this whole universe. And this is one of the verses. I repeat the meanings for the benefit of our listeners. I shall repeat the meaning of this verse. Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. Verily or indeed in the creation of heavens and earth. Waqtilafi layli wan nahar, and in the alternation of days and nights. Wal fulki allati tajri fil bahar, and in the ships and vessels which move around through these oceans and waters. Bima yanfa'unas, carrying things which are beneficial to human beings. Wama anzalallahu min as-sama'i min ma'in, and in that too, what Allah sends down from the heavens in the form of rain and water. فَأَحْيَا بِهِ الْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا, and with it he brings, and through it he brings earth back to life after its lifelessness. وَبَثَّ فِيهَا مِنْ كُلِّ دَابَّةٍ, and spreads and scatters different kinds of living creatures. وَتَسْرِفِ الرِّيَاحِ, and in the blowing of the winds around. وَالسَّحَابِ, and in the clouds. مُسَخِّرِ بَيْنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ, which are hanging between heavens and earth. La-ayat are many signs, many symbols. لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ, but for those people who use their minds are meant mental faculties, our reasoning powers. So I told you this, that this is one of the greatest verses of Quran. To my knowledge, this verse encompasses at least 24 different modern sciences. It deals with them and throws light on them and asks its readers to think. That's why, just to understand this verse better, to understand in a better way, I have tried to separate this verse according to the laws of mathematics. As we see in mathematics, we see there are certain things outside x, then bracket, within brackets, a plus b plus c plus d, like that, and bracket close. When we open it, it becomes xa plus xb plus xc, like that. So that makes to solve the equation easier to understand in a better way. Same way, I have tried to separate this verse because word la ayati liqawmin yaqilun is outside the brackets. If we separate this verse like this, that shall help us or facilitate our understanding this verse in a better way, in an easier way. It's like this. Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ard la ayatin liqawmin yaqilun, which shall mean, indeed, in the creation of heaven and earth, there are many signs for those who use their reasoning powers. Wa fi ikhtilafi al-layli wan-nahar, and in the alternation of days and nights. La ayatin liqawmin yaqilun, there are signs for men of understanding and who use their reasoning power. وَفِي الْفُلْكِ الَّتِي تَجْرِي فِي الْبَحْرِ بِمَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسَ, and in the vessels or ships which float or cruise through the oceans and waters, carrying things of the benefits to human beings. لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. In it too, there are many signs for the men of understanding. Same way, وَمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مِن مَاءٍ, and what Allah sends down from heavens as waters. لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. In it too, there are signs for men of understanding. And then, فَأَحْيَا بِهِ الْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا. With these rains, He brings earth back to life after its lifelessness. لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. In this phenomenon too, there are signs for those who use their reasoning powers. And وَبَثَ فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ دَابَةٍ, and the way He scatters or spreads different kind of living creatures and animals on and under the earth. لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. In that, this phenomenon too, there are signs for men of understanding. And then finally, وفي تصريف الرياح, and in the winds blowing around, لآيات لقوم يعقلون, there are signs for men of understanding. And finally, والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض, and in the clouds which are hanging between heavens and earth, لآيات, in that too there are signs. لقوم يعقلون, for men of understanding, are those who use their reasoning power. I hope you must have felt that there are many kinds of modern sciences which this verse encompasses. Like what I've understood, I want to share my experiences regarding this verse. That's why, normally our class or this talk about Quranic verses lasts for only half an hour. But today's class is a mega episode of a program. That means it will last for 1 hour at least. 1 hour. But we should try to understand it. In our normal classes, when we try to read this verse, splitting it mathematically, as I've tried to split it for better understanding. In our normal classes, it takes us around a month or even more than a month to understand different dimensions of this verse. Such a vast verse. Now we should try to understand in briefest possible time the significance of the phenomenon as dealt with in this verse. The first part should be like this: Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. Verily, in the creation of heavens and earth, la ayati liqawmin yaqilun, there are signs for men of understanding. So this part of the verse, this part of the verse is in itself, as we call it in our own physiology, as it's an ocean of information, or ocean of knowledge. Only this part of the verse, Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. But I feel myself that ocean is too small a thing to describe even this part of the verse, because this was Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard, verily in the creation of heavens and earth. It itself has many dimensions or many states. Khalqi samawati in the first instance means that this, in the creation, that means this universe has been created. It was not forever, as we found in modern sciences around after the phenomena, the Renaissance, or modern age of science as they call it, starting from Newton and Galileo and Copernicus and others. People belong to the different branches of sciences, especially the physical science or astronomy and related subjects. They try to create an impression that this universe was eternal. eternal. It has no beginning, so it has no end. It's a closed universe. It was as it is right from times immemorial. So it was not created, it existed. So as they put it, so there is no role for God. Because God, divine intervention comes only when we say that this universe was created. They try to prove it for around 200 to 250 years that this universe was not created. It was eternal. It was from time immemorial. So since this universe had no beginning, so it has no end. But religion as a whole, but Islam in particular, which Islam represents religion in its pure form, without contamination, without addition, without alteration, purely the divine text as revealed to the last of the messengers, Muhammad, peace be upon him, by the creator of this universe. So Quran, the first instruction is inna fi khalqi samawati wal verily in the creation of heavens. That means the first thing in it is that this universe was created. Can you imagine? Scientific circles try to establish this fact that this universe was not created. It was eternal up to, can you imagine, up to 1929. It was for the first time in 1929 when a great astronomer who was watching this universe from Mount Wilson Observatory. It was for the first time in history that while observing this universe, he could find or locate what we call red shift on the spectrum, which gave clear indications that this universe is expanding. There were few takers of this phenomenon to begin with. Even Albert Einstein the Great, who is considered to be the greatest scientific mind ever produced till date, he too had to think about it, and finally it was established that this universe does expand. It's not static, it is dynamic universe. It was for the first time in the history of science that this universe is dynamic, it is expanding. And from that, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. After finding this universe expand, which was later established by different researchers, George Gamow and other scientists coming down to modern, like Carl Sagan and then Stephen Hawking, it was established beyond any shadow of doubt at the dawn of 21st century by such greats like Carl Sagan, Van Berger, Salam, and then Stephen Hawking, who is a living legend at the moment. So going by the rate of expansion, it was established that this universe has an origin. It was not eternal. I can explain it like this. According to the Now the theory of expansion of universe. We feel, okay, if this universe is of this size today, and it is expanding like this, so that means maybe before 1 million years, since it was expanding, it's still expanding. Before 1 million years, it was only up to this size. And before 10 million years, it was smaller than that because it's expanding. It has been expanding. It was proved. And before 1 billion years, it was only up to this size. And before 5 billion years, it was smaller than this. And before 10 billion years, it was even like this. And before 12 billion years or 13 billion, it was like this. And from the rate of expansion, it was established that it was around 20 billion years back when this universe didn't exist at all. What was there? They say there was a primordial atom, a small atom which, according to their calculations, which occupied no space and had no mass. That means we can easily say in popular or normal language, it was nothing. So what happened? This primordial atom, or what they call cosmic egg, exploded. Primordial atom, the smallest thing one can imagine, the smallest particle a human being can imagine. They say the universe was in the form of that smallest particle. Unimaginable. Imagine what's it? And then they said there was an explosion. And with the explosion of this primordial atom or cosmic egg or that smallest particle, what this explosion they describe now as Big Bang. Whether Big Bang happened or not, I'm not concerned about that because I'm not authority on that. I'm just a student of Quran and just trying to understand modern sciences. So with the explosion of this primordial atom, the process of the creation of the universe started. Previously they used to say it happened 20 billion years ago. But with the advancement of knowledge, just few years back, it was established that universe is 6 billion years younger. Now it was proved, no, it was not 20 billion years back, but 14.6 billion years before that there was a primordial atom and it exploded, and with the explosion, there was tremendous smoke, and creation of universe started. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. This was the endorsement of religion. Basic truth established by religion are propounded and presented before the world from the word go. Then first man, Adam, landed on earth. It was he, the first prophet, the first man, the first Muslim, and first bearer of the divine message. And we passed through different eras and different areas of the world and culminating in the final of the prophets, that's Muhammad, peace upon him. The basic truth was established, basic religious truth was established that this universe was not ever, it was not forever. It had a beginning. That's what this first part of the Quranic verse, this verse 164 explains, that this universe, inna fi khalqi samawat, if you think about the creation or the way it was created, la ayatin liqawmin yaqilun, there are signs for men of understanding. Signs of what? Signs of the greatness of the Creator. Once a universe was created, think about how great is or how greatest is the Creator. That everything we see today, it was contained in the smallest possible particle. I remember here once in an article I found in a scientific paper, a lecture delivered by one of the greatest scientists of modern times, who passed away just a few years back. I mean, Carl Sagan, who was one of the directors of NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, while delivering a lecture in New York about this origin of universe. And at the end of the lecture, some research students stood up and asked him, Mr. Professor, I have a question. If you say this universe started from a primordial atom or the smallest particle, so my professor, tell me, what was that? What was outside? Because universe doesn't mean only solid particle. This space is also part of universe. He said, my dear professor, tell me, respected professor, if everything exists in that atom, what was outside? Carl Sagan confessed that I had no answer but to say that at that time there was no outside. Everything was inside. So you can imagine that this whole universe, we see this galactical system, the stars, these planets, how many? Billions and trillions of them. They say there are 100 today, according to this Carl Sagan, in his book Cosmos, he explains, and then another book, great book, Billions and Billions. The title of the book is Billions and Billions, wherein he explains that this universe, what is known about the universe, consists of around 100 billion galaxies. 100 billion galaxies. And there are 100 billion stars in every, around 100 billion stars in every galaxy. So the even number of stars, total number of stars in this universe comes around 10 billion trillion. Imagine, 10 billion trillion. That means 10 billion trillion stars. And imagine about the planets, how many. And everything was contained in that primordial atom. Imagine the smallest particle, around 14.6 billion years ago. Quran says, Inna fi khalqi samawati la ayat. Verily in the creation, the way we created this universe, there are signs. Then it was, so science has come to this point, that this universe did start from a primordial atom and it exploded. So it endorses the basic truth of religion. Now when a question is put to them, okay, how did it explode? Who exploded it? They say it was by accident that it exploded. And everything what we see is a result of that accident or the first explosion. But it is strange. It's hardly hardly a right-thinking man can take this theory or take this idea. We see explosions. Accidental explosions are always destructive. Whether it's a small crude bomb or hand grenade, starting from that to atomic bomb, or hydrogen bomb or neutron bombs, when it explodes, it's always destruction and destruction. So how come this explosion, with this explosion, started the process of not destruction, but this explosion started the process of creation. Unless we see there is some brain behind it, there's a designer or the exploder who made this explosion, that we see the systematic creation of universe started. This is Quran. This was part of the verse Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. Quran has an answer, which inshallah sooner or later they shall have to endorse, because there is no way out for them except to, as Quran puts it somewhere, sanurihim ayatina fil afaqi wa fi anfusihim hatta yatabayyana lahum annahu al-haq. Oh Muhammad, peace be upon him, don't be worried, don't be grieved if they are rejecting this message of Quran, or if they are rejecting your message. Don't be grieved, don't be sad. Time is going to come sooner or later that we shall show them the signs of our greatness in their own selves and in the whole cosmic system. Hatta yatabayyana lahum annahu al-haq, and they shall confess that really what our Quran said and what was delivered through the tongue of Muhammad, peace be upon him, was truth. Now the time has come. Time has come. The first truth has been accepted, and now second truth they shall have to accept. Imagine, this was established in 20th century. Nobody knew it before 20th century. So what can you say about this Quran being the word of God? Can there be still any doubt about the divine origin of Quran? 1400 years back it talks about Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard. Oh man, think about the creation, how this process of creation of this heavens and earth started. You'll find not just one symbol, not just one sign, but ayat, many signs, hundreds and thousands and millions of signs. Quran explains this somewhere. For example, we see it in chapter Al-Anbiya, verse number 30. أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. That surely there was a time in the past, in the remote past, there was a time when this earth and all these heavens were together, joined together as a single unit. Imagine. See what they have proved now, and what Quran, through the tongue of great Muhammad, peace be upon him, greatest of all, he explains it in 1400 years back. This is a verse of Quran. There is no revision of Quran. We know it. We have faith Quran. We can find this verse in the copy of the Quran written around 1400 years back in the time of the Prophet and first Caliph Abu Bakr and the third Caliph Uthman. There's no variation, not the variation of a single word or letter anywhere. So we can see, I ask those readers who don't believe in Quran as divine book, I request them, my special request for them is, and for Muslim brothers and sisters too, if they want to strengthen their faith, let them find the meanings of this verse in any translation done by any non-Muslim like George Sale, or for that matter any English translator, and Dawood, or many more. They can find there's no alternate. Quran says, "Anna samawat wal arda kanat." There was the time when this earth and all the heavens were joined together as a single unit. Then we exploded it. Quran had answer to this too. Who exploded it? They have no answer. Quran has an answer. We exploded it. We made it to go asunder, and we broke it. And we started systematic creation of words. How? Quran has still the answer for that too. Quran says in chapter Hamim Sajda, verse number 11, it says, ثُمَّ اسْتَوَىٰ إِلَى السَّمَاءِ وَهِيَ دُخَانٌ. Then Allah the Almighty applied his design of creation to heavens when it was still in smoke form. That after the explosion there was smoke all the way, a nebula state. It is the second stage of creation of the universe, as explained by Quran. You imagine. And the Quran goes to explain what was understood by human efforts in 1929 through the efforts of George Hubble, the great astronomer. Quran has an answer. وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ. We created this whole cosmic system, this whole cosmos we created with our creative power. وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ. This is not static. We are constantly expanding it. So imagine, we are constantly expanding it. This is Quran explaining it 1400 years back, which we understand now on the threshold of 21st century. Not only that, if we ask any modern scientist, theoretical physicist, or any mathematician dealing in theoretical physics, like Stephen Hawking the Great, we say, what's the fate of the universe? Today, he may say, yeah, this universe is expanding because there's no alternative left for them just to, other than to accept that this universe is expanding. Their answer is, if we ask them what's the fate of the universe, they say, this universe is not that expanding, but the rate of expansion is going to slow down at some stage. And once that universe reaches its maximum level of expansion, the expansion process shall stop, and there shall be contraction process shall start, and ultimately there will be a universal point. Whole universe shall turn into a black hole, as is highlighted by a great book of Stephen Hawking, when he, which had a tremendous impression throughout the world and scientific circles of the world about the universe. The book, Brief History of Time, from Big Bang to the black holes. So it's going to, at some stage, expansion process is going to stop and contraction start. And what they say, this universe by and by shall come in its original form, where it was around 14.6 billion years ago, when it was a simple primordial atom. This is modern science. See Quran, explaining again chapter Al-Anbiya. This explanation of this part of the verse in the Fi Khalqi Samawati wal Ard. Quran talks about it. So this is chapter Al-Anbiya, verse number 104. يوم نطوي السماء كطي سجل الكتب كما بدأنا أول خلق نعيد وعدا علينا إنا كنا فاعلين. A day is going to come sooner or later. يوم نطوي السماء, that we shall roll back this universe. The universe which we are expanding at the moment, we shall stop its expansion, then we shall make it a contract. And we shall roll it back and bring it in its original form, as science believe now. And then if we put another question to modern astronomers, the scientists who are involved in space explorations and theoretical physics, we asked them, then, okay, we believe that this universe is going to come in its original form, that primordial atom. What is going to happen next? Stephen Hawking has an answer. He said, sorry, we can't predict what's going to happen next. Because all our laws, which came into being when Big Bang happened 14.6 billion years ago, our own laws shall break that time when the universe comes to its original form. So nobody can say what's going to happen next. But see, Quran being word of God. So with God there is Wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. He has power over everything. Wa huwal alim. He has knowledge of everything. Quran has an answer to this part too. When this, as Quran says in verse number 104, chapter Al-Anbiya, Yawma natwi sama katay sijil kutub. A day is going to come sooner or later when we shall roll back this whole cosmic system and bring it in its original form. Then Quran says has an answer to this question too, which as yet modern science has no answer to that. يوم نطوي السماء كطي سجل الكتب كما بدأنا أول خلق نعيده. As we had started the process of creation in the first instance, 14.6 billion years ago, we shall explore this atom again and we shall recreate this universe in a different form and with different laws of time and space. Quran says, Vadan alayna, see the authority. See, because being the word of God. Shouldn't it strengthen our faith and believe that Quran cannot be any result of any human effort, including the effort by Muhammad, peace be upon him? No, God forbid, it's not possible. Quran says, Vadan alayna, this is promised with us, inna kunna fa'ilin, and we are going to do it. That once this universe comes back to its original form, we shall export that atom again and restart this process of creation. Vadan alayna inna kunna fa'ilin. This is our promise, our pledge, and we are going to do it. There's no doubt about that. See, in the first part, Quran says this was inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard, verily in the creation of heavens and earth. La ayatil liqawmin yaqilun. There are signs of the greatness of Almighty Allah. But for only those people, who use their reasoning powers, who think about it, who have objective thinking, not subjective thinking. And see, Khalq Samawat, now also this about the origin of universe, how it is expanding. Now, what kind of universe this is now? Quran explains that too, and what we see in modern science, we see this universe now, they say consists of about 100 billion galaxies. Every galaxy, each galaxy consisting of around 100 billion stars. They say number of stars is around 10 billion trillion. As Carl Sagan rightly explains in his book, Billions and Billions, he said now the word billion is too small a thing to measure the distances of universe or to ascertain or establish the number of planets and stars and galaxies. So billion is too small. It is to be measured in, now he devises now some more this phenomena or some more terminology. Like he says, it is billion, trillion, now then quintillion, sextillion, septillion, octillion, nonillion, decillion. So imagine, if this is what we know about this universe today. But according to their investigation, modern scientific explorations, only small part of this universe is known. And most of the part, they say around, some astronomers believe that only 4% of the universe is known. So imagine, if we start counting the number of stars, not planets, is beyond human comprehension. If we just start counting only the stars, how many stars are there, how much time is it going to take? I'll tell you. As they say, about the known universe, only known part of the universe, and much more is unknown. If we go by only by the known part of the universe, it is, I told you, the number of stars is around 10 billion trillion stars. 10 billion trillion. You know what's billion? I'll tell you like this. It's billion like this. If we start counting from 0,